Hello and welcome to On Track, our weekly program where we invite local artists to come and perform their music for us. I'm your host, Claire Roden, and with me today is Jody Upp. How are you today, Jody?
I'm great, Claire. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you? So tell me how you first got into music. Like, where were you? How old were you?
Well, at that point, we were living in Chicago, and I started playing guitar. I had an old silver tone guitar, and the strings are like an inch off the neck, and so my fingers are always bloody. But I managed to teach myself. I never took a lesson, and I wrote my first song when I was 14 called "Give Me Some Living Room," and I wrote it in the living room. And it's been downhill since then.
Well, who are some of your musical influences when you were growing up? Who were you listening to?
Well, everything. A lot of Motown, a lot of country, old country, soul music, a lot of soul music. The Beach Boys came along. I like the Beach Boys, and the Beatles. They're all right. I didn't think they were going to last.
So is there any particular artist that sticks out in your mind as being a really strong influence, or was it just sort of like an equal mixture of everything?
Well, I'd like to say Johnny Cash, but I can't sing like Johnny Cash. But I remember I was living in Denver at the time, and I heard this song come on the radio called "One Piece at a Time," and that was it. Johnny Cash all the way.
So the song that we're going to hear up next, "He's Not a Keeper," is about, singing to a daughter, letting her know that the men that she's with, aren't keepers, So you have daughters.
Right.
Was there any particular instance or did something happen that inspired you to write this song?
Yes, as a matter of fact, but I won't say which daughter. But sometimes things don't go well and you have to move on, and she did, and things are good.
That's good. So do you feel like it will that your daughters sort of like learn from that song, or was it did you write it so as a way of telling them
No.
this, or was it just like after?
I just thought it was a cool thing to go about, and
Okay.
once I started writing it, it wrote itself. But there's always just a bit of truth in all my songs, but it's not scripted or anything. If I want to mess up the story, that's my song.
So is there anything else that inspires you to write songs?
Yes, beer. Actually, when I write a song, it's usually with my guitar, so I don't just, if I get a song in my head, I can actually write the guitar part without playing it, so I think that's why I hardly ever listen to the radio, even in my car. I don't like to watch TV. I've always got a song going in my head, so I actually have to start writing something to get the other song out. So.
Well, up next, "He's Not a Keeper" by Jody Upp.
I was fishing with my little girl one day in my little John boat on a big old lake. She hooked one on, reeled that bad boy in. Couldn't been 3 inches long. I tried to explain it's just a baby hung. Used to throw him back and try it again. I saw the tears pull out her eyes. Took her in my arms and said, "It'll be all right, but he's not a keeper. You should let him go. We could take the time. We'll throw out our lines where the water's deeper." not a keeper. He's not a keeper. Now my little girl, she's all grown up. In a small cafe we shared a silent lunch. She took a few bites and turned away. I saw the tears running down her cheeks. She said, "Dad, what's wrong with me? I'm with the man who treats me so badly." I took her hands and shut her eyes. I said, "I trust you, hon. It'll be alright, but it's not a keeper. You should let him go. You could take your time, find the one who's right. His love runs deeper. He's not a keeper. Not a keeper. Fishing and loving are kind of a lie. You don't have to keep them just because you get by. He's not a keeper. You should let him go. You could take the time, find the one who's right. His love runs deeper. He's not a keeper. You should let him know. I think he's a stinker. I got an itchy trigger finger. Keep the damn hook, line, a sinker. Not a keeper. He's not a keeper.
Welcome back to On Track. I'm your host, Claire Roden, and with me today is Jody Upp. So tell me about more like where you're from, like originally. Like where were you born? Where are your parents from?
Well, it gets a little complicated, but I was born in Toledo, which I hate to admit, because I wanted to be born in Wyoming.
Well, that's where you were, your spirit was born.
Yes. Anyway, we moved around a lot. I lived everywhere as a child. Topeka, Cleveland, Chicago, and then spent a lot of time in Chicago, grade school. And as I got older, to be truthful, I started running away from home.
Okay.
Because it was a rough home life.
Okay. Where would you run away to?
I went to San Francisco, and I was down there with Haight-Ashbury.
Nice.
And so I got that whole music scene. And it was unique. I saw Jimi Hendrix live, Janis Joplin live. It was a good time for music.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
So where have you played live?
Well, I play all around the area. I host an open mic at the Old Time Inn in Sandwich, Illinois, every Thursday night. And do pretty much what we do here. I give people up there, they do their songs, and, I do regular gigs, whatever. People call me up. I hardly ever go out and look for them anymore. I'm kind of lazy like that. But
It's just more reserved is all.
I'll be playing at the Roadhouse in Yorkville. At the Old Time Inn, I just played there Saturday night. I've played at Rowdy's. It's just all the bars around.
So have you done anything in the studio before? Have you done any studio recordings or?
I have a studio in my house.
Okay.
That God, it's driving me crazy.
How so?
I have top of the line software and everything, and if I could just learn how to two basic things, that'd be fine. So what I do when I get an idea for a song, I have an iPad interface, Focusrite iPad interface, and it actually has an app on there called Tape, and it's a real tape. And, I mean, it's really cool. So I'll lay down my song into that, and then transfer it to my computer for further editing or whatever it takes.
So the next 3 songs are going to be A New Kind of Disease, Spell It Out for You, and Life is Like a Rodeo.
Everyone has a cell phone. They keep us updated with the selfies and their comings and goings. They call me old-fashioned, call me a dinosaur. They call me, don't text me, can't stand them damn little keyboards. And it's a new kind of disease. And everyone seems to have it, and we all pay for our habit monthly. I was cruising down a highway with an eye on the cars next to me. I swear every driver had a phone down between their knees. Man, I'd see some bad driving. This was insanity. They were speeding and a slowing and a swerving, scaring me. And it's a new kind of disease, and everyone seems to have it, and they all pay for their habit monthly. Oh, it's a new kind of disease. On computers or a phone or a tablet, every little thought just blab it. Oh, can you hear me now? You all got the disease. I learned my ABCs back in grade school. And then a GI Bill and an old Pennant HD and a stack of IOUs. It's in my DNA. Loving you is what I do. My ETA is always ASAP. Get on home real soon. I'll spell it out for you. I'll LOVEYOU. no PhD. This is old school. You're my one and only, so I mind my P's and Q's. I'll spell it out for you. L-O-V-E-Y-O-U. Oh, Cupid really nailed me with one of his A-double-R, O-double-U. I'll spell it out for you. L-O-V-E-Y-O-U. I'll spell it times two. L-O-V-E-Y-O-U. I was 6 years old on my first bike, and Daddy had a hole and he let me glide, and I took a spill. Oh man, I cried. He picked me up and dusted me off. He said that is the first and last many falls. I'm gonna tell you what Granddaddy told me when I was your size. He said, life is like rodeo, every second counts and you're gonna get thrown, but you pick yourself up and give it one more round. Tomorrow morning you feel a little older, kinda busted up, but these words you hold when you tell yourself nothing gonna keep me down. Yippee-ki-yay, life's like a rodeo. Life's like a rodeo. So here I am, all these years gone by. After so many falls, I still get back up and fight. Seems like yesterday when I fell off of my bike. Look at Dad, stop my crying. I hopped back home and I went flying. I was singing these words, why the wind wiped the tears from my eyes. I said, life is like a rodeo, every second counts and you're gonna get thrown, but you pick yourself up and give it one more round. Tomorrow morning you feel a little older, kind of busted up, but these words you hold when you tell yourself nothing gonna keep me down. Yippee-ki-yay, life's like a rodeo. Life is like a rodeo, every second counts. You're gonna get thrown, but you pick yourself up and give it one more round. Tomorrow morning you feel a little older, kinda busted up, but these words you hold when you tell yourself nothing gonna keep you down. Daddy said, come on boy, give it one more go. Yippee-ki-yay, life's like a rodeo. Life's like a rodeo. Life's like a rodeo.
Welcome back to On Track. I'm your host, Claire Roden, and with me today is Jody Upp. So the last song that we heard was Life's Like a Rodeo. Is there a particular event that inspired you to write a song about, overcoming life's challenges and not letting them keep you down?
Well, there was, I think in the first verse, I say something about my first bike.
Yeah, right.
And I recall my dad teaching me how to ride. And this bike didn't have any brakes. It was anyway.
Did you have a helmet on at least?
We didn't have helmets when I was young.
Okay.
And so he let me collide, and I took a spill, just like the song says. So I used that part to set up the song.
Right.
But it's basically about life, whenever you fall down, get back up. And the thing about a rodeo, every second counts because, that's how you score. So you got to give it your all. And I think the song kind of touches on all that.
So you talked about the places you play live. What's it like, to be in front of an audience performing your music? Do you perform covers, or do you usually perform more like your original things when you're on stage?
Mainly covers.
Okay.
People like to hear what they know.
Right.
I have if it's in my wheelhouse, I'll learn it, but I don't do a lot of new country because there's plenty of people that do that, and they do it well, and it doesn't fit an older artist as myself.
Right.
So, but I can sing about things they can't because they're not old enough.
So, what's it like performing live versus in the studio? Like, do you prefer one over the other, or is it equal but in different ways?
Well, in the studio, you can, I messed up, I'll just do it again.
Right.
Now live, if I mess up, I just keep playing. And half the time people don't even notice.
So, is it equal, or is it?
Well, I have a thing about forgetting lyrics, I admit it. So I use my iPad on stage.
Okay.
And I have a Bluetooth pedal. And I don't have to look at the iPad, but I want to be able to glance down and see where I'm at,
Okay, so. Even though you're an older artist, you still like to use new technology.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Are you more like a tech kind of person, like at home or anything, or are you just more like sort of wooden chairs and a TV with two antennas in it?
Yes, we have two rocks that we sit on. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's whatever. I have an iPad. I don't have a smartphone because we have agreed that after observing everybody that we know, just going back to that one song, A New Kind of Disease, it's kind of like everybody's on their phones all the time. And my iPad serves a lot of that purpose, but I don't keep it with me wherever I go.
Right.
But, I notice if I had a smartphone, I probably wouldn't even take it out of the car if I went into a restaurant, just out of that's the way I feel about it,
Yeah. So where can we hear more of your music?
Well, I don't have a website.
Okay.
I have I have a couple songs on Reverb Nation and Number One Music, which are different sites for posting your own music.
Okay.
Or you can post whatever you want, but everything I post is original.
And it's under your name, Jody Baker? Or Jody Upp?
Jody Upp.
Joddyupp?
J-O-D-Y.
J-O-D, oh, one D. Okay.
And two P's.
Okay. So the song that we're going to hear next is Just to Know You. So
yes. Would you like to hear about?
I would love to hear the story behind Just to Know You.
Well, like we were talking about my early life, when my dad went to prison, my mom had to get out of town for her own safety.
Right.
So I never knew my mom, and it was such a life event that I wrote that song back in 1985, and I didn't know. The lyrics. I heard you moved to Texas to ride out the storm. I didn't know she moved to Texas, but recently, I would say, within the last 2 years, I had someone contact me on Facebook, and it was a sister I didn't know I had. And she told me all about my mom who had passed away and how she regretted, how everything went. But
Right.
so it's quite a moving song for me.
I'd love to hear it. Up next is Just to Know You by Jody Upp. Thank you so much for joining us here on Track today. I was your host, Claire Roden, and our guest, Jody Upp. Thank you for tuning in tonight.
I learned my ABCs back in grade school. And then a GI Bill and an old pen at HD and a stack of IOUs. It's in my DNA. Loving you is what I do. My ETA is always ASAP. Get on home real soon. I'll spill it out for you. I'll LOVYYO-U. Take no PhD. This is old school. You're my one and only, so I mind my P's and Q's. I'll spill it out for you. LOVYYO-U. Oh, Cupid really nailed me for one of his A-double-R, O-double-U's. I'll spill it out for you. LOVYYO-U. I'll spill it times two. LOVYYO-U.